When I was a child, a certain question sparked intrigue in my young mind. A question that kept me up at night, that I still struggle to find an answer to this day. I want to ask you the question and see if you have an answer. Are you Toon enough?
Ever wondered what it would be like to live life as a Toon? Well, here's your chance. Jump online and straight into Toontown, where the city limits are as wide as your imagination. Make your own Toon and play tons of games. Explore crazy new lands and help save Toontown from the evil cogs. What are you waiting for? There's never been an online multiplayer interactive ever-changing Toon-themed game like this before. Toontown. Are you Toon enough?
Toontown Online was a massive multiplayer online game made by Disney Interactive and Shell Games in the early 2000s. Disney was really looking to shake up their video game and interactive division, so they decided to take a step in a new direction with an online experience. At the time, MMORPGs were still very fresh and new to the scene. World of Warcraft wasn't even out yet, and Disney knew if they cemented themselves with a hit game, they could be juggernauts in this rising genre. Toontown officially launched on June 3rd, 2003 to commercial and critical success. It was lauded for being a new spin on the MMO genre and was considered a hit amongst its key demographic, which was young people and kids. I totally understand why. Toontown had a fully 3D world to get immersed in, fun minigames, as well as an addicting gameplay loop that always had you working to new goals to accomplish. Toontown was a fully fleshed out MMO experience. One of the biggest selling points was that you could play it for free, but you'd have less content than those who paid for something called a membership, which is just a fancy way to say monthly subscription. And as soon as we had a family PC powerful enough to run it, I immediately downloaded it and made an account, created a Toon, and set off to see what this new world had to offer. Toontown being free was icing on the cake. Before we get started, I want to explain something. The gameplay footage I'll be showing is from Toontown Rewritten, the amazing fan server project. It's pretty much the exact same experience with some quality of life improvements as well as new content. I'll be talking about this more in depth later on in the video. The Create a Toon portion of this game is very robust, but I love it. You have a lot of limitations, but it also feels like you could make your own unique character based on your personality type. All of the Toon species are animals that I'd say fit the rubber hose art style you'd see in early Disney cartoons. You can pick between cat, dog, duck, mouse, pig, rabbit, bear, horse, and monkey. In Rewritten, they added deer and crocodiles. I love crocodiles. If you've seen my Neopets Addiction video, you'll know I always tend to pick crocs when I can. I will admit, I think it looks more like an alligator, but I'll let it slide since it's stylized. Since this is just a cosmetic choice and doesn't matter in the game, I'm picking the croc. You also get to pick a name from a list of preset silly words, and some of these name combos are pretty great. Stinky Nutty Roni, Ugly Bruce Crunchy Nose, Midnight Bean Masher, Dr. Pillow Chomp, Loud Boingin' Fussin'. I'm naming my Toon Coach Bongo Sour Knees because I have sour knees IRL. You could submit a name to Disney, but they had to approve it first. So, what's next? What can I do in Toontown? Well, this is where the membership came into effect. Regardless if you pay the fee or play for free, you'll have access to a majority of the content, with only certain things being locked behind paying. You can do quests and play minigames, but would be limited on what areas you could go, and some of the activities would be locked off. So, no mini golf. Membership was $9.95 per month, and you kept some benefits even if you let it lapse, like extra Toon slots, which is a nice bonus, I guess. I don't remember if I had a free trial or if I begged my parents for a membership, but somehow I ended up with a month-long subscription exactly once. Honestly, I only wanted it to play mini golf, and I think some of the cosmetic stuff was locked behind the paywall. Now, Toontown Rewritten, which, like I said before, is the client I'm playing for this video, treats every player like they have a membership, so absolutely nothing is kept from us. So I'm probably not going to be bringing up the subscription again since it's obsolete. The very first thing you do in Toontown is the tutorial, which explains the basics of what you'll be getting up to in the game. Actually, I'll let Tutorial Tom take it from here. These are cogs. They're the business bots trying to take over Toontown. There are all sorts of cogs. They turn happy toon buildings into ugly cog buildings. The cogs are tough, but they can't take a joke. A good gag will put a stop to them. The cogs, the bad guys, the big unfun corporate dorks who just want to build offices and factories to make things faster, faster, faster. They are who you are going to be fighting throughout the game. There are 4 different types of cogs: Bossbot, Lawbot, Cashbot, and Sellbot. It blows my mind that corporate entities are villainized in Toontown, especially with the foresight of how Disney is today. I think Disney had a different type of company culture back in 2003 and wanted to fit in by making the Toons rebels fighting against the man. The combat was all turn-based. I grew up playing games like Final Fantasy, so this was second nature to me. You'd enter combat in real time, other players and enemies can join in the battle if they happen to be walking by. I actually love this a lot. I really wish more MMOs tried something like this. And if you know of one, please let me know about it in the comments below. I remember running up and down the streets of Toontown as a youngster trying to fight cogs and joining in battles to help out other Toons and having them help me out too. This person practically carried this fight for me. Let me thank them for their help. Where's thank you? Is it under here? Oh yeah. You might remember this if you played Toontown back in the day, but the way you could interact with people in the game was through something called speed chat, which was practically brand new at the time. So, pretty much, you'd have a set of predetermined phrases and questions you could select, and people could reply the same way back. Now, I'm not a parent, but I am a cat daddy. They don't know how to play video games, but if I did have kids when Toontown was around, I'd feel much more comfortable knowing this was the method of communication in the game. There was an option to get actual chat functionality, but you had to log into their website and have a parent give it the okay first. When I played for this video, I only used the speed chat function because I wanted to see how malleable it was. I'm happy to report it worked just fine. I used it to ask questions and people actually understood what I needed and assisted me. I don't think every online game needs dedicated chat systems or like a voice call or anything. Sometimes I prefer playing without either, and I think speed chat is super viable to meet in the middle of those. I'm sure someone at some point in time figured out a way to abuse it, but I could see it being fixed with some fine tuning. I feel bad for kids nowadays because I don't feel like safe online experiences really exist anymore. There isn't a new Toontown, Wizard 101, Neopets, or Webkins. I think Roblox is kind of close. I've never played or seen someone play Roblox, so most of my knowledge of that game comes from the headlines I've seen, which paint Roblox in a pretty negative light. Maybe someday the youth will have a new Toontown type game, but as we all become more connected, achieving this is going to be really hard. I do recommend giving the speed chat a go if you do plan on revisiting this and see how you like it. This is a Disney game, so there is a lot of Disney characters in this, and a lot of landmarks and areas are named after Mickey Mouse characters, like Donald's Dock, Daisy Gardens, and Minnie's Melody Land. Now, I'm not the biggest Disney person alive. I like some of the movies and I think the parks are neat, but I was more into shows like Dot Hack Sign and games like The Sims Online. So my main interest in Toontown was that it was an MMO I could play for free. I'm sure seeing 3D Disney characters in game was pretty cool for kids in the early 2000s, unless you played Kingdom Hearts. Actually, I have this Disney back scratcher that features Mickey, Donald, and Goofy all stacked up. It reminds me of a Trinity spot formation in Kingdom Hearts 1. That actually feels pretty good. Minigames are an important aspect of Toontown. They are a fast source of income, providing jelly beans for how well you do. Jelly beans are used as a currency in Toontown. You can buy gags, clothes, and all kinds of stuff with them. The minigames are, for the most part, not too bad once you get the hang of them. They are quick to get in and out of, which makes grinding for jelly beans a lot less of a drag. I'd compare the minigames in Toontown to the ones from Pokemon Stadium or Kirby 64, but with online multiplayer. In order to access the minigames, you have to hop on the trolley. Other players can jump on with you, which allows them to do the same minigame as you at the same time, and doing them with others make the game feel more alive. I was absolutely terrible at the vine one. In Donkey Kong, I am the king of swing. In Toontown, I am the king of fling-ing myself off the vine and into a pit or a bat. I don't understand how they expect you to get the bananas, not get hit by enemies, and make it to the end all within the time limit. My favorite minigame was the diving for treasure one. It has an interesting control scheme, but once I got the hang of it, I was pulling off clutch dodges and all kinds of fun stuff. Also, you get a lot of jelly beans for doing that one well. There were some larger scale minigames that you could find outside of the trolley, like Chippendale Mini Golf and Goofy Speedway. Mini Golf was the one minigame I was most excited to go back to for this video. I remember really liking it a lot back in the day. If you've seen my candystand.com video, you'll know that when mini golf is involved, it's absolutely over for me. I'll never be able to escape. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. Mini golf in Toontown is top tier. I'm not saying it's perfect. It has some of the weirdest mini golf physics I've ever seen, but replaying it fixed something inside of my soul. The power gauge is the strangest sport. Even when you max it out at 100%, it doesn't really feel like you're hitting it at full power. And aiming has no reticle, so you'll need to practice a few times before it clicks for you. I think naming the mini golf section after Chippendale was smart too. I liked the show Rescue Rangers when I was younger, so I liked the characters Chippendale, and that probably added to my enthusiasm. The courses and music and sounds are all full of whimsy, and for a 3D online mini golf game, I find it impressive and addictive. I highly recommend revisiting this if you enjoyed the mini golf back in the day. Driving is nutso butso, and I love it. I did a race on a track that was entirely ice physics, I think, and I was smashing into walls at 115 miles per hour. One thing I disliked about the racing was once you started it, even if you were alone on a practice course, you cannot quit out of it. This is ultimately a nitpick, but I found it a tad annoying the one time I wanted to stop racing. You start out with some of the in-game racing currency called tickets. You can buy a car and hop right in. I didn't actually do the racing all that much when I was younger, but it looks like you can customize your car and unlock more stuff by winning tickets, which is awesome, and I could easily see myself losing a lot of time here. Besides the questing, combat, and minigames, there's actually a lot of side content that you can take part in on Toontown, and this is the stuff that always kept me coming back for more. There was housing, which I loved. You start the game with a fully furnished house. You can buy stuff on your phone from Clarabelle Cow and customize your personal space. I actually think having a room for yourself that you can inconsequentially change is good for a young mind. It allows you to express yourself in a way that you can change whenever you want, free of consequences. It's why I think games like Animal Crossing are so well liked. Your house has a storage for your clothes and items and a bank for your jelly beans. The cosmetic stuff in Toontown can be on the pricier side, so saving is a must if this is an aspect of the game you're interested in. Another easy way to grind for jelly beans was fishing. You can fish at almost any body of water, and you can sell whatever you catch. I'm a fan of virtual fishing, and Toontown's is about as average as you can get. It isn't hard or tedious or anything, it's just fine. And that's totally okay. I guess there was even a pet simulation part of Toontown. I hadn't heard about this until I started researching for this video, which is unfortunate because I would have been all over this back in the day. They are called doodles and look, interesting to say the least. This is an aspect I'm looking forward to experimenting with because after making this video, I felt that Toontown addiction creeping back. And why wouldn't I? Toontown is just a really cool place to chill. Just existing in this virtual world is really fun, and it feels like there's always something to do. If I was gonna make any complaints about the game, most of them are just due to it being made in 2003. Some of the controls feel super dated, and the music can get really repetitive after a while. Toontown is like a really good game to listen to a podcast or watch a video while you're playing it. You can turn the music all the way down and still hear everything, but focus on something else instead. One thing I didn't mention earlier is that the Disneyland park in California has a section named Mickey's Toontown, and from my understanding, Toontown is loosely based off of it. It has a similar aesthetic and similar locations. In the video game Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep on the PSP, there is a level called Disneytown, which is also based on this section of the park. I cannot help but notice the similarities between the level in KHBBS and Toontown Online. Disneyland is home to a few mini-games you have to complete in order to beat the level when you visit it, including a racing one that controls suspiciously very similarly to the racing in Toontown. It makes me wonder if this was intentional or just a big coincidence. Either way, I'm probably digging too deep here. I just think it would be really neat if the park and these two games were related in some way. Disney ended up announcing they would be shutting down Toontown effectively in September of 2013. Until the game closed, they actually bumped everyone up to a membership subscription for free, which was actually really cool of them to do. Once it was closed, that was pretty much it in terms of Disney's involvement. Toontown wasn't like Neopets. This wasn't a new property with spin-off games, merchandise, and toys. Toontown was the spin-off of pre-existing Disney properties. Just a new venture in a different direction. Good news though. If you want to play Toontown today, you can. It's through the fan-hosted client Toontown Rewritten, which I mentioned earlier on in the video. I'm gonna be honest, I have played a lot of fan-hosted MMOs, and for the most part they are great, but Toontown Rewritten is the golden standard. Not only is it an accurate version of the game, but the new content and options and quality of life improvements make this easily the best MMO preservation project I have ever engaged with. There is a link to the website in this video description if you want to check it out. The team behind Rewritten do this entirely for free out of the kindness of their hearts, and I just want to say thanks. Disney allows them to host it as long as they don't make any money on it, and they don't. They're not even allowed to take donations. Their dedication blows my mind, and it makes me want to keep playing Toontown Rewritten even more. Which, as much as I want to, I don't need another time sink right now. I think I'm at least going to be checking it out every once in a while when I need to get that fix again. Rewritten caused Toontown to leave its intended audience, and now it's being enjoyed by those who played it when they were younger or those who missed out on it at the time. Based on my own personal experience, the Toontown community is super nice and helpful. You can tell they want this game to last. There is even an event called Toonfest where you can meet up with other players as well as devs from the original team. Apparently, at one point in time, a mobile port was considered for Toontown, which unfortunately Disney decided against because they couldn't find out a way to get a substantial cash flow. Which sucks because Toontown would be a perfect mobile experience. I could see it attracting a similar crowd to those who play old school RuneScape mobile. This video actually has a pretty happy ending. No NFTs, no abandoned software, and no corporate grifts. Just a group of dedicated fans keeping a game alive and thriving. They keep it running because it's something they love doing, which, in my opinion, is better than corporate meddling any day of the week. Maybe this is a reason why we don't see this exact Toontown anymore. Disney has gotten more corporate over the years, and it probably wouldn't look good for them to be the villains in their own property. Revisiting this game I have fond memories of, only to find out that I wasn't the only one who felt that way, is really comforting. I had a fantastic time replaying Toontown to make this video, and if you played it in the past, or even have a passing interest to check it out, I cannot recommend it enough. And to answer the question, yes, you are Toon enough. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. I had a lot of fun making this video, and I hope you had fun watching it. Consider subscribing for more content. See you soon.